Chica, don't torture yourself,
No,
please.
I want to hold it. It's all I have of him right now. Silly, I know. It's only a toy car. Runs on batteries that weren't even included, and it makes a hell of a racket. But he wanted it so much. He said it looked like his daddy's car. We used to walk by Geppetto's toy store, and that's where he'd look in the window and he would dream that Santa Claus would bring him one. But Geppetto's was all sold out when I went there. And so was every other toy store in town. I didn't know how I was going to face him on Christmas morning. And then I was walking home to the halfway house when I passed by this little tiny store that I never knew was there. And I went inside and I got the storekeeper to search the entire store. And then, on the very back shelf, I found it. And I was so happy. God, I was so happy. What happened to our beautiful little boy? What are they doing to him?
Don't do this to yourself, please. Don't do this. Come on. Now look, he's going to be home. He is. You'll see. And he's going to open all of his presents. You're going to have a happy Christmas. It's just going to have to be postponed a while. Just for a while. I don't want any arguments from you. You have to eat. You have to keep up your strength for Al.
You don't understand. Al is my strength. He's the reason I get up in the morning. He's the reason I go through the entire day, no matter how difficult it gets.
It's amazing. Such little guys made all the difference in my life, too.
Yeah. And with everything that's happened, the custody fight, my being on trial, now being in the halfway house, you know, he's never once complained. But how much can a little boy take?
Wait. Hell, hold it. We made a promise here, remember? No more negative thoughts are going to creep back in. They don't help us. They just make us weak and make us feel powerless, and that's not good for anybody, especially Al.
I know you're right. You're right. We have to be strong and optimistic, because that's the only hope we have of bringing him home.
That's right. So now, come on, eat up. Here, that's for soup.
Max, Gabrielle.
Herb!
Yeah, this is Dennis Draper. He's a federal agent. Mr. Holden, Miss Medina, the parents.
How do you do? Hello.
Ray filled me in on it today.
Well, did you talk to him within the last hour?
Yes, we both have.
Well, Herb, do you have any new information? Did Ray tell you something that he didn't tell us? Herb? For God's sake, do you know anything about our son?
Already, it's just that, unfortunately, we still haven't found your son or heard any word on his whereabouts.
So then we're right back at square one. All we have is Andy and Tyler's description of the homeless lady?
Well, at least we have Agent Draper and his people, and now that the federal authorities involved, the investigation can go into high gear.
Yeah, I'd like to begin by asking you a few questions, Miss Medina.
Is this absolutely necessary? Look, we gave all the information we knew to Captain Garrison already.
Max, let the man do his job.
I'm not trying to stop him from his job, Herb. It's just that Gabrielle's been through so much. I can answer the questions for you.
I'm sorry, but I have to account for Miss Medina's time after she left the halfway house and before she arrived at the park to meet you and the babysitters.
I don't understand why my whereabouts have anything to do with this.
You don't object to answering the questions, do you?
Wait a minute. What the hell is this about?
No, it's all right. I'll tell them what they want to know. When I left the halfway house, I had trouble getting a taxi, so I walked to the park.
Anybody see her?
Well, I don't like the tone of these questions, Herb.
Max, and we learned that Gabrielle made plans to leave Landview last night. That's true, isn't it?
Yes. I was being transferred to another halfway house in Pine Valley, but I still don't understand why.
Yeah, neither do I. What the hell is going on here?
Miss Medina, is it true that you fought a bitter custody battle for your son and lost?
Yes, but... Oh, no, you're not suggesting, are you?
I hate to be the one to say it, but sometimes when parents lose custody, they take desperate measures.
You're saying that I kidnapped my very own son? Oh, you don't believe this is true, do you?
On baseball in the 90s from Commissioner Fay Vincent, plus Sylvester Stallone, Joanna Kern, and the Wonder Years Dan Lauria tomorrow on Good Morning America.
You're invited to the Las Vegas home of Suzanne Summers Wednesday on The Home Show and Morgan Brittany by satellite from one of the most exclusive spas in the world. This is Gary Collins. See you Wednesday at home.
Stay tuned for General Hospital following an ABC News brief.
Well, Max, say something. I mean, you don't believe these two people that I had anything to do with the kidnapping of our son, do you?
No, of course I don't. I mean, this is so absurd, I just don't even know how to respond to
Well, I know how to respond. How dare you accuse me of something so terrible?
No one accused you, Gabrielle.
We know your history, Miss Medina, and we know that your child is missing. Now, what we don't know is where you were at the time he was taken.
And that's not an accusation? Max, tell them that they have no right to insinuate such a thing.
Gabrielle, it'll just be simple if you just answer the question.
What?
You know, just tell them where you were and what you were doing for the time you left the halfway house to the time you got to the park to pick up Al.
Here's what you do when you don't find the rainbow.
You got me. I was such a fool to think that I could outsmart the three of you.
Gabrielle, before you say anything
Max,
else, please
I've
don't...
got nothing else to lose, don't you see? I might as well tell them everything. When I left the halfway house, I met with my accomplice, and we slipped into the side alley to get changed into our disguise. And then when we came out, we were dressed as homeless people, you see. And then we went to the park and we abducted my son away from his babysitters.
What are you doing?
Oh, I timed it. I timed it so perfectly. But you see, my miserable little child, well, he just messed it up by getting emotional on me. Don't you see it was the perfect crime? It just didn't work out, did it? You and Mr. Sherlock here, well, you saw right through my alibi, didn't you? You pinned me down. You showed me up to be the inhuman, unfeeling, calculating witch that we all know that I'm capable of being, right? So take me in. Cuff me, take me down. Spare the trial, please, this time. Just execute me. Dear God, have mercy.
Just stop it now. There's nothing to confess. You've done nothing wrong.
Well, that's not what they think.
Herb, would you and Agent Draper please tell Gabrielle that you weren't insinuating she kidnapped her own son? Herb?
Gabrielle, I'm sorry if the nature of our questions upset you, but you must understand the position we're in.
Mr. Holden, at this point in a kidnapping investigation, we have to consider every possibility.
Well, I'm going to save you a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, Draper. This is one possibility you can stop.
Max, it's quite clear how they feel about me. Don't bother.
Well, it's about time we change their minds. Now, when you come in here accusing or even suggesting that she kidnapped her own son, don't you see what the hell you're doing to her? Can't you open your eyes and see it?
Max, come on, be fair, okay?
Fair? Oh, the great inquisitor's fair.
Look, it is standard procedure in a kidnapping case to question the parents.
Particularly when the parents have been involved in a long and difficult custody battle.
Oh, that excuse you're putting her through hell.
Ms. Medina, has your son been seen by a doctor recently?
Doctor?
Yeah, now why don't you give me his pediatrician's
Well,
name?
what the hell has this got to do with anything? What are you talking
I
about?
want to find out if the child has suffered any bruises or cuts.
Oh, that's it. We go out from simple kidnapping to child abuse. Well, he spends most of his time with me, not with her.
Max, I don't like this any more than you do, but we have to ask certain things.
Well, I got news for you, Herb, that you just asked your last question.
Listen, Mr.
Yeah, it goes
Holden.
double for you, pal. The only abuse that's going on around is with you two if you don't get out and start looking for my son.
Is that a threat?
Dennis, let's check with Rafe's people in the kitchen, see if the wiretap is in place.
Sorry. I know they've got a very tough job to do, but that does not give them any right to go after you like that.
I don't care what they think or what they say. I want my baby back. I want my son. I want him back.